Okay, so you've completed the bike.
Bike is done.
Okay, so let's just recap this. We've got 2.4 mile swim.
Yep.
Then we did 112, the toughest 112 mile bike out of all the Ironmans.
Yep.
Okay, are you ready to go home yet? Do you want to just say I've had enough? Or?
At that point, I just wanted off my bike. My ass was sore from sitting that long.
How about your forearms get, or I mean your palms get sore from the weight, or were you in your aero bars most of the time?
You know, on that course, I probably would have been better off with a road bike instead of being down, because you're going up and down hills the whole time. It's hard to stay seated the whole time on your aero bars when you're climbing hills and going up.
Hold on, let's talk about the speeds that some people get to. I mean, these aren't just dinky little slopes.
No.
People are going, what, 40, 50?
44, I think, was the highest.
44?
Going down a hill, yeah.
Okay, so there were guys going even as high as 50?
Oh, they're faster than me.
Okay.
Yep. Going up a hill, probably 4. No, it was slow. People could probably walk by me on those big ones.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were just so big.
That's intense. Okay, so then, now we also talked about how you were fortunate enough to hold your balls together. So you didn't.
Nope, none of that.
Didn't poop your pants or
No,
anything.
no pooping.
And that was 2 goals. You finished the race and you didn't poop your pants.
That's right. So I accomplished
those are great
both.
goals. Oh,
and I still
awesome.
didn't go to the bathroom on my bike. My buddy asked me if I was just gonna piss myself on the bike. He goes, "You gonna stop? Or you just gonna go?" I'm like, "Well, if I have to go, I'm gonna stop and get off. I'm not gonna just go."
Might as well.
Well, he said he was practicing how to do that. So he'd unclip and then he'd pull his leg up. I was like, "Oh God, I'll just stop." So he put in a lot more effort than I did practicing on the bike.
Oh, thank you for that graphic interpretation here. Okay, so let's talk about now getting into after all that, now we're getting into our run. So transition about the same?
Yep, same thing. He had to bike up the 5 stories.
Yep.
You run into the building, you grab your bag,
okay,
you go
so
into the changing room.
From bike to running, the transition, how long?
That one took me like 12 or 13 minutes.
Okay.
Typically in a regular, triathlon, less than a minute. So all I have to do is change my shoes.
Okay.
Take my shoes off, put my running shoes on, and off I go. But this one, and I ate a little bit. I ate, I don't know if you've ever seen like those Stinger waffle things. I had 3 of those and 2 things of water before I left for the run.
Now, hold on. Are you running in your bike shorts?
Well, I had my compression shorts underneath, so I slipped those off and then slipped my running shorts on.
Okay.
So I did change out of my. Some people just have the tri-suits.
Yep, and then they just
wear
run
them the whole time. But the pad is so thin, I wanted to be comfortable on my bike.
On your bike,
So I went with a thicker pad and then just changed in the thing.
Okay.
So, if I'm going to be on there for 6 hours, I'd want to be comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, changing to my.
Hold on. As comfortable as you could be.
As comfortable as I could.
112 mile bike ride.
The biggest thing, your back started hurting from being down. Just your low back and. So anytime I could stand up on my, just stand up and stretch, I did that.
Right.
My brother, on the other hand, he had to stop at every rest stop to get off, stretch his back.
Yep.
Do that.
Now, your brother is also 6'3"?
Yeah, almost 6'4".
Almost 6'4". And Luke has a very long torso.
Yep.
So that's a lot of load when he's in flexion. Your torso's not as, but it just goes to show you, as strong as Nick's core is, you're taking a beating when you're in flexion that long. So, but okay, so now we're running.
We're running at, I think I started 8 hours and 13 minutes is when I started the run.
Okay, so we've endured 8 hours.
Put in a full day's work already.
Grueling exercise, and now we have to do a full marathon.
Yeah, which I thought I could run it under 4 hours. If I kept my pace, I should be able to run it under 4 hours and hit my goal of 12 hours. But I didn't expect the 2 transitions to take me as long as they did. So that was an extra 25 minutes I didn't account for. And I knew I'd be pushing 12 hours to begin with. But I had to run, I think, to keep that, I would have had to run like an 8:55 minute mile, which typically for me isn't that bad, because when I run half marathons or anything, I'm usually in the 7:15, 7:30. So I thought, I can slow down another minute and a half, 2 minutes. The
No.
first mile or two, I looked down at my watch, I was at 8-minute miles. I'm like, ooh, I gotta slow down.
Yeah.
And then mile 4 hit me. Done.
Okay, so people talk about hitting the wall.
Yeah.
Was that like a
wasn't-
mini wall, or was
It
that
was stomach
a-
cramps and wanting to puke wall.
Okay, that's not
So-
the wall that I would like to
So
go to.
from mile 4 to mile 11, I couldn't take in any nutrition at all. Water, that was it.
Say that again. Mile 4 to mile 11.
So for 7 miles, and I was averaging about 9 to 10 minute miles. So for well over an hour, I couldn't take in nutrition because I thought I'd puke.
Okay.
So I had such bad stomach cramps, and the only thing I'd take in was water. And obviously that's not going to help you after.
Okay, so
10
so
hours.
those of you guys that are kind of contemplating maybe doing an Ironman, that I don't know if this is helping you make the decision or not. I'm definitely, my decision is made.
Okay, good.
I will not be doing one.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about really how you train for it.
Yeah, my training was a little different than most. Most Ironman training, you do strength training for in like the off season.
Right.
So you just you build up all your muscle, and
Sure.
then for 6 months, and the in season, all you do is swim, bike, and run.
Yep.
That's all you do.
Yep.
Well, then you lose all that muscle mass.
Yeah.
You lose everything. So I kept 2 strength training days in my workout, along with my biking, swimming, and everything.
And how do you think that helped you?
Well, I think that helped me the most on the hills on the bike ride.
Yep.
I never once got passed on a hill. Not once. from
That's
anybody.
impressive.
I got passed
Considering-
going down the hill
Yep,
because
yep.
people catch their momentum and get after me, but I never got passed on the hill just because I could burn my legs a lot more
Yep.
than people could.
Yeah. So in terms of, when you were training, and we talked about maintaining good tissue quality,
Yep.
because that, you're beating up your muscles so
It's a
bad,
lot
and your
of-
muscles are breaking down and breaking down.
Yeah.
So you got to the point where there was one time where you were pretty concerned whether or not you're going to be able to race because
Yep.
you were hurting so bad in your calves and
My calves and my foot.
in your foot. So we did laser, we did the DMS,
Yep.
we did the rapid release on it.
Yep.
So we really did a lot of massage work with you.
Yeah.
Now another thing too is just the oxidative stress
Yep. I
when
was
you're
taking
doing
supplements for that.
an Ironman like this. I mean, in fact, studies have indicated just on a marathon, the oxidative stress is equivalent, and the stress on the heart is equivalent to a mild heart attack.
Right.
And that's just a marathon.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden we're talking an Ironman
And I'm almost
It's a-
doing that during my training.
during a training, yeah.
I'm biking 60, 70 miles. I'm running
Yeah.
18 miles.
Right.
So yeah, I got tested by Paula weekly, every other week to
Right.
make sure
You were
I was
taking the
getting
right supplement
that I
protocol.
had everything I needed.
Yep.
It's a lot of zinc.
We talked also a lot about the antioxidants,
Yeah.
and you were doing a lot of antioxidants, the
Yeah.
branch chain amino acids
Yep,
to
did that.
maintain his muscle mass
Yep.
and help with recovery.
And then for foam rolling, I was down to a PVC pipe.
Yep.
Right, that's what I had to start
Yep.
using, was
Yep.
a PVC pipe to break that down a little better.
Yeah, so there's multiple versions of foam rolls. You've got softer foam rolls, a little a firmer foam roll, and then of
Yep.
course the PVC pipe is what legendary athletes use.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So how are you using that? We talked about legendary athletes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so also we want to talk about, even though, obviously you've got a lot of credentials behind you in terms of being a trainer and corrective exercise specialist and performance enhancement specialist, but even though you're a good swimmer, obviously, clearly you knew how to run, you knew how to bike, you did search for coaches, right, who could help facilitate this process, make it easier, make it more efficient. So even though Nick had a significant amount of knowledge in terms of fitness, you still had coaches.
Yeah, my running was my strong point, so
Yeah.
I knew I wouldn't need nothing of that. Biking, I went into a couple classes, got my bike fit. They showed me how to pull and push, and
Yep.
you get hooked up to the machine. So having my bike fit and going to those classes were beneficial. And then
Right.
swimming, I knew was probably my weakest. I mean, I'm
Yep.
a pretty strong swimmer. I grew up
Yep.
on a lake, but still, I had a friend that kind of helped me with some cues, and just to clean it up a little bit,
Yep.
be a little more efficient.
Right. And that efficiency, that's time.
Yeah, oh yeah. My brother swims with his head out of the water, so he's just this way, both ways.
Yep.
So all that extra energy that he's wasting doing
Right.
that, just, I don't know, it adds up after a while.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah. So here's the one thing I think that's really neat is you had this on a bucket list.
Yep.
You set a goal of completing it with a specific time. You created a strategy,
Yep.
how you were going to train,
Yep.
and then you went after it and you took steps on a daily basis, and you achieved your goal. So that's the neat thing about it is there's so many people out there. First of all, you have to identify what it is you want to do, and then what's your strategy, get your coaching, and then obviously you had to do the activity on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So we talked about how this was on your bucket list. Is it now off your bucket list, or will you be competing in Hawaii anytime soon?
Nope, it's off. The training and the physical demand on your body is it was too much.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm older and the kids are gone,
Yeah.
I maybe do something, but although I have already talked about with my buddy doing the half Ironman in Boulder, just because I won't have to train for that, so that one will be easy.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just mental. A lot of mental. In the run, the whole thing was mental.
The whole thing.
Well, I didn't feel the best. Obviously, my stomach. Mile 13, I started feeling a little better, and then I got sick again. And then until at night when they brought out the chicken broth, that was all I could drink. Then I got a little energy and I ran. My last 2 miles were my fastest miles, I think. Just because some guy ran up and said, "Hey, let's get this S over with." So I said, "Okay." Then we just ran the last 2 miles together and got it over with. But mentally, it was just keep going. You're gonna get there. And then you cross the finish line. It was like,
what are you playing through in your head? Are you? I mean, is there a lot of you replay life events? Are you just completely focused on taking one step ahead of you? What's going on
in the
in your
swim?
mind?
It was just survival. Try not to drown. The bike was, oh, there's a big hill. Oh, there's a downhill. But then the crowd. So you didn't even really think.
Yeah.
The bike was you didn't really think. The run was like, okay, one step in front of the other.
Yeah.
Just keep moving. Usually when I run and you can't have headphones, I count to myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Yeah.
So I keep my pace. But that gets boring after a few hours.
Yeah.
So then it was just go. And then, the old body project saying when things get tough, just quit. That one came in a couple times. I thought, well, I don't know, just quit. It'd be
It's
easy.
too hard.
If things get too hard, just quit.
Just have to explain to all the clients that I didn't make it.
I mean, the clients in my head definitely pushed me like, okay, you got a lot of people watching you, and everybody's cheering for you, so just get going.
Yeah.
So it was just get it over with.
Yeah.
And the finish line was great. The volunteers are great. I couldn't eat for a couple hours afterwards just because I didn't
just
feel good.
sick.
But as soon as my brother finished, that was about a little more than 2 hours after me. Then I ate pizza, Subway sandwich. I had everything.
Real quality nutrition.
Oh yeah,
That's
I got
awesome.
the whole quality food back in me.
Let's talk about how many calories did you burn?
Roughly around 14,000.
14,000 calories in one day.
Yeah, so when you guys see on the ski machine, when I make you roll for calories and you burn 5 calories, well, I burnt 14,000 of them.
Yeah, he burned 13,000. That's more. So yeah, what's the next challenge for Nick? You talked about the half marathon, but
yeah, I might do that half Ironman in Boulder, which that's not really a challenge anymore after you've done a full one. And I've done a couple halves before, haven't really had to train for them. So those, I don't know, everybody wants to see me on that American Ninja Warrior for some reason.
That would be sweet.
But
yeah,
I don't think the wife wants me to do any other training outside of the house.
Okay.
So unless I build some sort of obstacle course in my gym.
I think that's good.
So right now,
I'm doing that.
my goal is just hit the weights hard. I'm just going to lift. I'm going to put all my energy into lifting.
Get some muscle mass on that scrawny little
bulk up a little bit.
Ironman body.
Time to bulk up.
So here's the kind of the recap is, again, Nick set a goal, created a strategy, worked hard, And there's very, 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 very few people in this world that can actually claim to be an Ironman. So, well done.
Thank you. And for my 12 hours and 52 minutes, I got this. That's and a hat and a shirt.
And also, how much did it cost you to?
$650 medal right here.
It's a $650 medal, so that's pretty cool. All right, thanks, Nick.
Thanks.